good evening. Thank you very much for being here. And as we have only 15 minutes, I will rush, okay? So our panel is Wastetech the next green investment frontier? And I have the pleasure to introduce here over there Mr. Gautam Sashittal, CEO from the King Abdullah Financial District, KAFD. Welcome, Mr. Gautam.
Thank you, Daniela.
And Mr. Joakim Karlsson, CEO and President from the Envac Group. So
thank you.
So let's start. Mr. Gautam, please tell us about KAFD.
So KAFD is a city within a city in Riyadh. So we are spread across 1.6 square kilometers. And if I have to describe KAFD in a sentence, I would call it a 24/7 sustainable cognitive city. And that's what we're moving towards. And I'll very quickly explain what that means. We have 5 asset classes that are native to the district: office, residence, hotels, retail, and entertainment. And that's what makes it a 24/7 district. But more than that, we're actually creating a smart city environment. We have 48 projects currently running to make it a completely state-of-the-art smart city, and of course, sustainable. When I talk about sustainability, Envac, this is where it comes in, and what we're talking about in terms of Wastetech, how we manage waste, how we recycle water. We are the largest Platinum LEED certified district in the world, and we have over 40 towers that are LEED Gold or Silver. That's what KAFD is all about.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting. So, Mr. Joakim, tell us about the Envac Group, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniela. It's a magnificent pleasure to be here in this important and fantastic event, to meet you all, and also to be in Rio de Janeiro. First time for me. I love the city. So my name is Joakim Karlsson, and I am a very proud CEO working at Envac, because we make a difference. When you choose Envac and our technology, you will not only have a state-of-the-art solution, you will also be a part of fulfilling the sustainable development goals. So who are Envac? Not much have changed in waste collection in hundreds of years. So I would like to describe Envac as a game changer. We take waste collection not only to another level, we take it to another dimension. You know, with smart technology, we are moving the waste in pipes underground. And thus eliminating the waste trucks in the city. And that makes a huge difference in getting rid of emissions, CO2, and particles in the air, but it's also increased the accessibility, the cleanliness, and the safetiness in the city. We have also digitalized the system, so the customer, the city, and also the user can have a detailed view on how the recycling really are going. And we can use that data to get feedback, to get knowledge, to inspire and encourage a better behavior when it comes to recycling and source separation, taking better sustainable decision. So we are a Swedish company. We are the pioneer. We invented this system, and today we are a global company with 35 offices in 20 countries. And we have solution for cities, normally new build areas, but we can also retrofit. We have solution for hospital, fantastic solution with a hygienic and rational solution, and for airports.
Thank you. Just a quick thing. Are you here in Brazil also? So do you have projects here?
Yes, we actually have 2 projects in Sao Paulo. So the Cirio Lisbon Hospital. Libanese, sorry. And then the Parc de Cidadens area, a residential areas. So start with 2, hope to be plenty more.
Thank you. Mr. Gautam, back to you. What are the challenges that you find managing cities, particularly in relation to waste?
So I think Joakim said very eloquently, it's about when you're managing a city, you don't want trucks all over the place. But I think what is the biggest challenge for us in terms of waste management, and let me put some perspective around it first. I mean, globally, there's about 2 billion tons of waste generated. And almost about 80% of that lands up in landfills. And that is a big challenge, and that'll go up globally, and that'll go up to about 3.4 billion tons by 2050. Now, if we don't do something today to manage that waste, then we're going to have problems, climate, and so on and so forth. For example, a majority of the methane, almost about a third of the methane that comes out into the air, probably not a third, 11% I think it is generated from landfills. And methane is almost 3 times more potent than carbon dioxide. It stays there for 100 years. So really, what we do in terms of managing our own city is looking at minimizing the amount of waste that should go into landfills. And so using the Envac system, and I think Joakim mentioned this, we have about 21 kilometers of pipe work underneath, which actually sucks out all the waste, and it goes into containers from where it goes straight into the sort of waste management plants. But what we're doing in addition to that is we're actually separating waste at source so that we have less going into landfills. But then we're also going a few steps further in terms of waste management, in terms of smart bins, for example, so we know when a bin is getting filled. So it's using IoT, it's using technology, AI, to sort of get smarter with what waste goes where, how to separate it at source so that less goes into landfill. And then ultimately what we're also doing is we're actually doing agreements with recycling companies. That means that they recycle the material that we've separated at source, but we create that truly circular economy because we buy back product from these recycling companies. So that's what we're looking at. The entire waste management supply chain, we just want to make it smarter, use technology, and we want to actually create the circular economy with the attendant sort of advantages for the environment.
So Gautam, is organic waste, and what kind of waste we're talking about?
So we have a very large retail component and hospitality component as well, as I said earlier. So a lot of the food waste that is generated, for example, there's a lot of wastage in that industry. So what we're doing is we're working with technology startups, for example, to actually ensure that there's local produce available in only the quantities that they require, so there's less wastage, because in the F&B sector, almost 40% of the produce is wasted. So you're sort of looking at all of these components in order to reduce the amount of waste that comes in. But again, going back to your question, it's about separation at source. We're not yet at a stage where Wastetech is about really ultimately recycling as much, sending as little as possible into landfills. But then you're looking at composting, you're looking at biogas, you're looking at all of these fractions that come out of it. We're not at that stage, but we need to partner with companies that are able to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Joakim. What are the most significant differences between traditional waste collection and the new technologies that are being developed by Envac?
Yeah, a good question. Waste collection and waste storage, it's still today in the 21st century, in most cities, a manual, physically stressful process, where other important urban services like water, sewage, electricity is a natural part of the underground infrastructure. Waste collection is more or less done since they have done for centuries, going with a garbage truck to each house, dragging, lifting bins and bags. A tough and bad environment, working environment, spreads odor, noise, etc. Does it have to be like that? Definitely not. Also, when introducing more recycling, you need to take more valuable space for more bins. You need to add more transportation. Does it need to be like that? Definitely not. So if you look into smart waste technology, instead we can help to make the city more attractive, more sustainable, improve quality of life, and actually help to secure a greener and cleaner city. So I would like to take my hat off for Mr. Gautam and his team taking this decision in a smart city, and the results speak for itself.
Thank you. And where do you see, Mr. Gautam, cities and waste management in the next 10 years?
So by 2030, the waste tech industry will be about almost $2 trillion. It is substantial, the amount of technology that is being developed. We talked about IoT devices, we talked about smart bins, we talked about AI, using it, getting smarter. So when you have smarter routes, for example, and not going, as Joakim said, going from to all the bins, for example, you know when they're getting filled, you get smarter routes, you actually reduce emissions in transportation, for example. So waste tech is ripe for disruption. It's a very large industry, but you need to look at the entire supply chain of waste management, right from what bins, how they're collected, how the waste is collected, how it gets processed, where it gets processed, how do you reduce the amount that goes into landfills, how do you compost waste, for example, organic waste. All of these things need to be looked at, and of course, the energy conversion that comes out of that. So there's a lot that needs to be done over the next 10 years. It's going to evolve quite rapidly, in my view.
Thank you. And you, Mr. Joakim, same question. What is the future?
Yeah, thank you. I strongly agree. I think we will have a rapid development in smart technology. We can see that more and more attractive cities around the world realize that the smart waste management enables smart and sustainable communities. And in our experience already today, for example, over 40 cities have the Envac solution as the preferred method to collect waste. And it's cities like Stockholm, Barcelona, Seoul, Singapore, Riyadh. So for example, in Stockholm, more or less all new build areas have this pneumatic waste collection system. In Singapore, it is mandatory. If you are building an area over 500 apartments, you must have a pneumatic waste collection system, because in a holistic perspective, it gains the city and the society.
Thank you. We still have some seconds. So, Mr. Gautam, would you like to add something?
I think we all collectively need to do more for the climate, for the environment, and I think that's what we at KAFD are constantly attempting to do. I mentioned smart city, I mentioned sustainable city, and what we're doing at KAFD will be quite path-breaking in terms of we've got water recycling plants that we're looking at energy conservation, we're looking at putting almost about 15,000 IoT devices throughout the district to actually move from reactive to predictive maintenance, smart parking, smart security. We're looking at all of these options really, all with one purpose in mind, to make that city sustainable and to make it a model for other districts and cities globally. Thank
you. Joakim, you mentioning something about resilience in cities, and also this is a very important thing for President Lula and this government, people that are working and collecting waste here. Could you say some words about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also when you should choose the right waste collection, resilience is very important. And I have one example, and that was from New York. Perhaps you remember the storm Sandy. And we have a plant in the Roosevelt Island. So that was the only place where the waste collection still have a good function when the storm Sandy come through New York. So having a robust system and the good smart waste tech will also benefit the residential resilience. Sorry. So, to your question here, you will forget everything what we have said, but I would like you to take this takeoff with you. Be open for smart technology, and also be brave. Have the courage to take the right decision that will help to secure a greener and healthier planet.
Thank you very much. We are running out of time. And thank you for your words and for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.